What's up, geniuses? Welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Rob Markman. Now, if you've been paying attention to hip-hop the last couple of weeks, a lot of drama brewing between DJ Khaled and Tyler, the Creator, okay? Tyler, the Creator, is a couple of weeks back. Igor got the #1 spot on the Billboard 200. And, you know, Khaled was a little salty. There's a lawsuit going on. There's some questions about which bundles are counted. Are shirts cool, but energy drinks aren't? We're going to break it down. We're going to get into all of it, and I got a dope panel today to discuss it. First up, he is no stranger to For the Record, my man Najee Grampus.
My man.
Manager, Urban Sales, Marketing, and Promotion at Sony Music.
Yes,
You're also the host of your own show, Rap Radar Cigar Talk, which I've never been on. I don't smoke cigars, so I don't feel some type of way.
Nah. We getting you on there, baby. we getting you on there, for sure.
Yo, and then secondly, last, never ever least, somebody that I'm happy to have on the show. I follow her on Twitter all the time. She has all the takes. She's not afraid to speak her mind. Oftentimes, I don't agree, but I always respect your opinion and position. Ed, the celeb. All right, I want to get this right. Media personality, playlist curator, and strategist. And you got your own playlist, Eb Don't Sleep, where you actually put on for new artists who actually really don't get the shot at being playlisted by Apple or Tidal or Spotify.
Correct.
And
you got it right. And I'm here, and I'm happy.
Good. That's good, man. I'm happy, too. And I know you have been all over this topic. I follow you on the timeline, like I said. By this point, we've all seen the video of DJ Khaled that he since deleted where he said, you know, I'm trying to do my Khaled impression. I make albums so people could play it and actually hear it. It's called albums that you actually hear the songs. Not no mysterious shit that you never hear.
That's pretty accurate. That sound good.
That's accurate?
Yeah, accurate.
The video, as far as I could tell, was posted from a Twitter user. I want to shout him out, at pink_Mars. And I just kind of want to get into it. The video really set people off. Like, we saw the video, and then, you know, social media, particularly Twitter, does what it does. It just started throwing the rocks. Pitchforks came out. The torches came out.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bad couple of days for Khaled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I was out there with my slingshot throwing rocks, too, because I was like, yo, listen, Khaled is my guy. Like, we're not going to go and say that. Khaled's my guy. But one is his brand and his identity is based around positivity, right? Like, everything is positive. Everything is, they don't want you to do this. They don't want you. Khaled, you can't be they. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Khaled. You can't be they. So, for me, it's like, you can be upset that you didn't get the #1 album, right? We all fighting for that position. Everybody wants to see. I could get that. Like, you could be upset about it, but throwing shade at Tyler, we don't condone that. We don't condone that.
Yeah, but what's your take on the video? I feel like you was waiting. You was like, oh.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you can't be like, be great today, every morning. Like, he should have. You got to take the high road, and so you're not going to be #1 all the time. And then to be that upset. Tyler does everything himself. He produces, write everything. Yep. To be that upset for an album that you do the bare minimum on, like you're not the artist on there. All you do is yell. Like you're not even really producing no more. You don't write. You're that upset about somebody that actually curated their entire like they actually did everything, and you do the bare minimum in your projects and are mad. Like, I just felt like it was a self-entitlement that shouldn't even been there.
I think bare minimum is hard. He gets a lot of criticism. There's a lot of the meme of what does Khaled actually do?
Yeah, what does he do?
But I do feel like, to give Khaled his credit, I think he you know, you start as a DJ, and he has moved into this curation space for a 2019 term. If it was that easy to put together these Khaled albums, everybody would do it, right?
I mean,
I think he furthered the genre of, like, if you look at DJ, like, it was big when DJ Clue signed to Rockefeller and went platinum with The Professional for the first time, and Clue did, I think we got all the way up to The Professional 3 as a major label release, and then it stopped. I mean, for Khaled to be on his 11th.
But he was producing. That's what I'm saying. Like, drama produces.
Clue
like,
wasn't really.
Yeah,
Clue wasn't on the one. Good. Clue was a producer.
I feel like Khaled's actually producing, though. Like, I feel like he's in there sort of arranging things and kind of taking little sounds out.
He's a glorified A&R. He's a glorified A&R. What does Khaled do?
Executive
produce. But at the same time, you know, it's funny because I seen the criticism. I couldn't believe, right? I saw people on Twitter. You know, the Outkast sampling was one thing. Yeah. I saw people, how dare he sample Senorita? Puff. When Puff did it, it was pure. Yeah. People forget in 97, No Way Out, a lot of the criticism that
Was-
Khaled is getting
that
for the
Puff
way
was
he puts
taking,
record,
too.
what does he do?
Yeah.
Puff was taking those shots.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's not that part, and I don't want to take credit away from Puff or his legacy, but it's kind of in the vein of what Puff was doing.
Sure.
I just feel Puff's ear was better. Like Puff had to create stars. So I don't
Right.
want to compare him to Khaled, who literally has access to the biggest artists in the game and just throws them on records. Like that, to me, that's not anything we need to glorify. Like if I could do, if I had that access, I could put the same album together. Like nothing he does impresses me. Puff literally curated these. He made stars out of these people, throwing sounds together, sampling stuff. Like Puff is on another level when it comes to A&Ring and executive producing. I'm never gonna compare a Khaled to Puff. I'm just not gonna do that.
Were you ever critical of Puff back in the day? Like people?
I mean, I was young,
that exists,
so
right?
I just enjoyed
Okay.
the music.
Okay.
Like I just was like, as I got into the industry, and actually, I still don't like the term producer for him.
Right.
But what he brought, like hearing that Mary could be on this, like his ear is just different on another level, and from people that weren't stars at that time. So you have to put respect on his name for that. Khaled literally has access to Jay and Beyonce, and that's like the worst song on the album.
I mean,
arguably.
we can't I'm not gonna sit here and compare like Puff to Khaled. I
Yeah.
think there's levels to everything. I think there's levels, and I agree with you. You know, the point just Puff kind of creating stars is different than I guess the paradigm, the formula Khaled's using. My thing is like I think just because you have access and can get the Jay and the Beyonce and the top level guys, you still got to deliver on the record.
Yes.
Just the names itself
Right.
ain't that like, it's like I saw
Right.
somebody on Twitter tweet and I thought it was a perfect analogy. They were like, yo, you ever see the person that just like, they wear Louis this, Gucci this and that, and then
Still
it's like
don't
you
got no
fly.
style.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but
You
Still
gotta-
don't got no style.
You got to coordinate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta just,
And it's funny because Tyler liked whoever tweeted that. I saw Tyler liked it on the academics page. I want to go back to the video though because
Yeah.
it's something. So at Pink_Mars, as far as I know, was like the origin of captured that video. The one who posted the video and made it go viral. All the sites that reported on it took from his or her account. I think it's a him. Forgive me. Do we know the context of that video though? It looked like he was hating on Tyler. It looks like he was throwing shots on Tyler. But listen, I don't know when that video was posted or like context changes everything, right? And we're a week removed from the internet killing a lady for taking Jay-Z's drink order. Like they destroyed
That
because
was
we
out of
because we
control.
didn't have
gotta relax.
Like,
You gotta relax.
we didn't have the
All these standards.
we didn't have the context, right? And then when we got the context, everybody's like, "Yo, you could actually see her mouthing vodka and soda. Do you
Right.
want a lime?" Like you
Right.
could see it played out as she said it was.
Yeah.
So, I think when this Khaled video was posted on our timelines, it looked very convenient that he was going at Tyler. But when did Khaled actually post it and delete it? Was it a couple of days before? Was it a week? And like I was trying to dig back and see when was he wearing this outfit. Like I was really trying to look. I couldn't really find. But is there a world where everybody's overreacting and this video wasn't
No.
about Khaled? You
About
about
Tyler.
Tyler. You're convinced this was about Tyler.
No, because like going back to his brand, Khaled's brand is not that.
Right.
So it had to be a shot. His brand is not that. He's positive all the time, every other day of the year. But right after your album drop, now you got something slick to say? No, it had to be.
It was definitely about Tyler, but I thought the interesting part about that video to me, and it sort of raised this conversation, is like I like to say niche is the new mainstream. I always like preach that right now, and I think that's so important because what Khaled said at the end of the video was like, you know, not these mysterious albums that you don't never hear. I'm making albums that's like you hear it in the barbershop, you hear it here, and that's sort of alluding just to the mainstream aspect of it. But like you can be an artist like Tyler and have a niche hardcore fan base and outsell dudes that's out here doing mainstream stuff.
Okay, so that's part of the conversation. At first, I want to credit Tyler because I think Tyler has been came into the game as counterculture.
Yes.
I feel like and really fought. I mean, even to the point where he was going against my guys at Two Dope Boys, who I think were like putting on for the culture.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Shout out to
why are you
Making It
picking
Shake.
on them,
Yeah.
dog?
Yeah.
Like, but he's built this for years, and I think Igor is a fantastic album. It's a fantastic body of work. So he deserves every bit of success. But let's talk about how we get there, because part of it is the fan support for real. And then I think the crux of what's going on, right, is this idea of bundling, right? And how are people achieving it? And we're at the point now where everybody is bundling. And what does it all mean? So let's talk about where do you stand on the bundles.
Yo, all right. So bundles is important everywhere. Black culture, black women love bundles, labels love
You know
bundles.
what?
Everybody love
like-
bundles. You feel me? Like bundles is important these days. But yo, no, seriously, I think it's important as anyone who's driving a campaign to sort of find nuances in ways that you're able to sell more records. That's the business we're in. That's the game we're in. And when you bundle something, I think we're in a day and age where fans want more than just the music, right? Like you can pay $40 like Tyler's album, or even what's his name? I'm sorry, Travis Scott. He did a bundle with Astroworld, right? Like you're giving hoodies, you're giving stickers. He gave out lawn signs. People want more than just the product itself. So it's like, I'll pay $50 if I get everything, if I get an experience in return. And I feel like if you're not doing that, your fan base is losing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. Like, when we were coming up, like, we had the Target exclusives that came with 3 extra songs. We had, if you get a certain, you can, for vinyl, it was a limited edition, a purple version instead of a black record. Like,
Right.
it's always been an incentive to buy. Like, this is not nothing new. It's a new cause behind it because nobody is buying albums anymore. So you have to entice people to actually buy your album. But this is nothing new. It's marketing. Like that's what it's
Right.
called. It's marketing. You have to do what's best for the change of the times. And if we're in an era where somebody can pay $9.99 for your album or pay $9.99 a month and have every song on whatever music service they choose to use, why are they only going to pay $9.99 for just your album? Like, so
Right.
you have to give people an incentive. And I do feel like to your point, like it's just going as the industry goes, and there needs to be some sort of standard. I do believe that. I believe, especially with this Khaled thing, with this energy drink that nobody heard of, like
Very
I
on
feel-
brand though. Khaled
It
is.
is
I
on
can
brand.
see.
It
He
is
got a lot of energy.
It
Yeah,
is
he-
on
yeah,
brand,
it is
but
on
I
brand.
feel
Yeah.
like the restrictions should come because this is at the end of the day, it's still about music. So I feel at the end of the day, there should be restrictions around bundles so that it's elevating the music and putting more money in the artist's pocket. That's putting money in that brand's pocket. I feel like it should be around the music. So like if you pay $100 for my album, you get the concert ticket and a hoodie or whatever that is. It should be around the music and still be money that puts into the artist's
But they
pocket
were
and not just some random
But
brand
they're
that
forcing
comes
it
in.
though, like right, like with Khaled's bundles, it was like the promotion that they were running at shop.com. It was like in order for you to even buy any products, you have to get the Khaled album.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Force
forcing
it,
you
and you
to
can't
do
do
that,
that. That's
and you can't do
illegal.
that in Billboard. And
Yeah.
even like my thing is Jay-Z did that. We saw that on Magna Carta, Holy Grail, right? He shifted the paradigm in terms. I know you told me not to do no Jay stuff, but hey,
Right.
look,
Yeah, don't come
Don't
talking
get
about.
him.
Yeah, I can't
He
talk
said,
about
man,
Jay
I
song
was
right
with
now.
Jay-Z right after he got his $1 billion check. He was like, man, I'm feeling great.
It was crazy. It was crazy. No, but I just mean in the sense like when you're shifting the paradigm,
Yeah.
right? Like he had Samsung and the app,
Yeah.
and you get a free 1 million downloads,
Yeah.
and Jay wanted that to count too.
Yeah, of course.
Billboard ultimately didn't count it,
Yeah.
but you ain't see Jay salty throwing
Yeah.
shots at everybody else. You take it in stride.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go back because you all said a lot, and I want to go to something that Eb said that it should be geared towards putting money in the artist's pocket, and the music industry has never given a fuck
No, not at all.
about putting money in the artist's pocket. For me, and this is my opinion, I've said it on the show before, I feel like, first of all, we have to stop talking about sales. Sales has to be taken out of the equation because the industry is moving us, is double talk. I'm talking about the music industry, the billboards, the RIAAs, Nielsen's, the streaming companies. Everybody wants to talk sales and count sales, but every move that the industry is taking is to eliminate sales. We've devalued music to the point. Why are we at the point that music isn't enough?
Yeah.
That an album isn't worth $9.99 anymore?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like we've took the value out of music, so now artists are resorting to these things. I'm not saying what Khaled did, whatever that energy drink thing was right, because I had never heard of that company either.
Yeah.
But because you're taking the sales out of it, you're gonna find more and more artists finding creative ways to push that line.
Marketing.
And guess what? Push what line? Because there is no line.
Mhm.
Right.
No,
So I found out after the fact that what I did was illegal, and supposedly, according to the reports, is that they had told Khaled that wasn't going to count, and they did it, and then decided to discount it. Whether that's true or not, the real thing is that there's no clear-cut line of what counts and what
Correct.
doesn't count. And also, going back, that was Nicki Minaj's whole issue. We've seen this before with her and Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And Travis wasn't selling concert tickets with Astroworld. It was the access to buy concert tickets when the
Early,
tour
Right.
is announced.
Yeah.
It
that's
was a
the
step removed.
But I think
Yeah.
that it's always going to be like, as Eb said, I feel like there's always ways that people are looking to try to finesse the system, to try to like get a one up. And I think it is, to me, important just from a numbers standpoint, just because in the game we're in, or just any game in particular, when you're competing, you need a numerical value to show who is what's the order, like who's top dog,
Yeah.
who's not. I think it's important to be able to understand that. And the way Billboard calculates their streams and their data, just as far as how they comprise it, is always going to change as the culture shifts.
Of course.
So I guess that's the conversation: is how are they able to change it and shift it quick enough
Exactly.
to where the culture is at right now?
Yeah, because Drake was able to manipulate it.
Sure
Like, and then
did.
after that, they was like, "Oh, we got to fix this."
Yeah.
So it's like they got to
Manipulate how?
to
The Drake-
when what happened with Drake?
I think
it was
even Drake, just like the idea that he started doing songs that were long length
Longer,
songs,
yeah.
Okay,
right? Like
right,
we're getting
right.
streamed more. Post Malone, do you remember when Republic posted on YouTube?
Yeah, the Rockstar.
the Rockstar, and it was
Yeah.
just
It
a
wasn't
loop,
that
right?
out.
It was
Yeah.
a loop. So you're counting the streams from that. But anybody who's just like, oh, I don't want the loop, I got the whole song. You getting like two streams for one.
But it all just seems very arbitrarily. And credit to, there's no secret, Hov is my favorite artist, and Hov gets all the credit in the world for
Every
everything.
time.
but I think Hov is somebody who saw the writing on the wall. You talked about the Samsung deal with Magna Carta Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to Kingdom Come when with the Budweiser
Right.
deal and whatever millions of dollars that marketing budget was. Jay, I think, saw the writing on the wall, and the name of the game is now, listen, give me my money up front.
Right.
Yep.
And y'all could do whatever y'all want with the
Yeah.
album
Right.
because you're going to bootleg it, you're going to leak it
Yeah.
anyway, you're going
Absolutely.
to stream it, and we not, because, even with the streams, when we talk about, it's not 1,500 streams equal one album. Billboard and Nielsen just recently split it to that.
Yeah.
If the free tier, it counts
Counts
one,
up
I
as-
think,
yeah.
3,700,
Yeah.
and then 1,400
Or-
maybe for
Yeah, I think it's
And then it's
42.
different by
Yeah.
like the program, the program apps versus the on-demand
Demand
apps,
apps, yeah.
right? So like it's just a whole list of
who
different
decides
things.
this? When
Good question.
And listen, and again,
They.
I'm talking about
They.
but you see what's going on. I think it's a real issue when, listen, man, I think it was a real shift when iTunes came onto the scene for what happens with physical products. I think it's another shift when Apple decides to take the CD, DVD drives out of the MacBooks because where are you
Absolutely.
playing these
Yeah.
CDs?
Absolutely.
It starts to dry up. What we're seeing is tech companies actually affecting the art and the business, and now tech decisions are made
Yeah.
before what's right for the artist.
Yep.
To what we talked about. And now, you even see Apple with the elimination of iTunes, and technically you could still buy music within the Apple Music app.
Right.
But there's rumors that that's not going to be around for much longer. So, I think the real issue for me is, and you guys please disagree if you disagree, agree if you agree. It's funny because we fight on the timeline, the memes, the jokes. I think Khaled versus Tyler, the Creator, is a distraction to a larger
Issue.
problem in the industry and the business. That's just my opinion.
I mean, it is, but I mean, it's a good thing that it's happening because, like, people in the industry, it's our little bubble. We know what's going on. Like, we have to strategize with that data, with that information. The fans think they know, but don't really know.
Right.
So this has been a good example of the fans having to educate themselves on why things happen the way they do. So to me, it's good in that, right? So they're just not talking out the side of their ass. I don't know if we can curse on this, bleep it out. When it comes to stuff, because the barbers was just ridiculous with their Travis cheating mess. That's because they just don't know what what was going on.
They go hard.
Like, don't get mad because she only bundled a poster and Travis had like good stuff that people actually wanted. Like, there's a difference between bribery and incentive. Give your fans a better incentive than a poster. So I feel like in this case, I'm glad it happened because the nuances of everything are better. Fans can better educate themselves on the nuances because the things that are out there make sense. And it's like, okay, why did this happen? And this shouldn't be the way.
Or even
So,
let's Taylor Swift, right? We didn't even talk
Yeah.
about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift sold pizzas with her album. Papa John's, who
Yeah.
sure.
we've since canceled.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
She was bundling. What does Taylor Swift Red album have to do with pizza? I mean, maybe the sauce was red.
I
and the
know,
album
right?
was
She got
red,
sauce.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, it's always just a game to figure out what extra can we do to get the fans engaged.
Yeah.
And for me, I love it because, like I said, I think it's so important that in today's age, just this digital media, social media, all of this stuff happening. You do not listen, artists. If you hear me, I'm looking in the camera direct. You do not need people to do it. You go direct to consumer
Yep.
and build your base directly. You don't need mainstream and all of that stuff.
Yep.
Tyler showed you that you can do it, just counterculture and a bunch of fans. The Flognaw Festival is an example. He has one of the biggest festivals just built off of his brand and a bunch of people that just hate mainstream shit.
But he used the bundles too. Like
Yeah.
the bundles
Oh, yeah.
increased. Like he plays the game as well. I think he played the game very well.
Yeah.
That's
Very
why
well.
he got
I
number
mean-
one. And he made a great out. That I don't want to discount the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Tyler
that his
made
album is
Igor
good.
is really a dope album.
Yeah. But I just feel I'm glad this is happening too because it's forcing digital marketing people in labels in house to be more creative because there's no like when I was doing like digital every day, like that was my full-time job. We had 3 to 6 month rollouts. Like we had to come up with creative 6-month plans. Then it was like that was like 5-6 years. Then a couple years ago it was 3-month plans. Now literally a single will drop and 3 weeks later the album will be out. So what are these digital marketing people doing at the label? What are they doing? When you have 3-week rollouts, what exactly is your job right now? Like outside of getting artists on playlists, like what do these digital people do anymore? And I feel like this bundling thing actually gave digital. They should be happy. It gave them their job back. Like come up with something creative to sell records, and that's digital marketing and traditional marketing in that sense. But it's just like,
But the creativity, as of now, and Billboard and Hollywood Reporter, a media group, they said that they're gonna go back to the drawing board and
Yeah.
review how bundles are counted.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard. Like, how creative can I be if I don't
If
even
you
know
have
what
those
the goal?
restrictions.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know where the
exactly.
line is.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what the restriction
But like you
is.
said earlier, we got to push the line. You
Yeah.
are the line, right?
Yeah.
Like the line is only wherever you go with it. And I just think it's so interesting that now, because of these creative deals, artists may not even necessarily need distribution services because they're going straight to brands,
Yep.
right? Like, imagine if you did a deal with Uber and they put your
Yeah.
records out
and it plays in every
But you
ride.
do, 'cause
Yeah,
yeah,
like
because what happened?
I need money for that.
Stamp
Y'all
that.
didn't check for that.
Somebody stamp that.
I
Somebody
feel
go get
you.
that.
I feel you on that, but I kind of feel like streaming was kind of sold to us as this democratic thing, and almost as an alternative to radio. Radio over years took a lot of criticism for the politics that radio had
Yep.
and who gets airplay and
Yep.
when and how that is negotiated. And
Absolutely.
streaming was like, yo, it's this purely democratic thing. And I think
Even
we're
though
starting
it's
to
not
find
really,
out,
but
huh?
I say even though it's not
And
really,
we're starting to
but-
find out that it's
Yeah.
not really like, where you are placed on a playlist. If you're placed on a playlist, has a lot to do with success. Eb, I want to throw this to you because I think you do a great deal of work and take a great deal of time. You have a playlist where for artists who are under 1,000 plays.
Yeah.
Have an opportunity to get playlists.
Yeah.
If you know the back of like Spotify for artists, they don't even show you what playlist you're on
Yep.
unless you get 25 plays on that playlist
Yep.
and up, and then you can kind of build with independent playlist curators. But you do a lot for independent.
Yeah. I mean, I try because I'm just like, I came in this game to be an A&R 15 years ago. That ain't happened because like Napster blew up and all of this. So that's why I end up doing digital. But my heart has always been to like develop new artists. So I felt like that's my way to do it in the digital era. Like I'm digital A&R if you want to call myself. So even meetings at labels, they like look at my playlist like, Ed, like you really like this art? Like really
course,
ask
absolutely.
me. And because I'm so vocal about the artists I don't like, people like, oh, if Eb like artists and they don't because she don't like nobody. So that's like my whole stitch is like.
Super Bowl.
Right.
So when I find these like new artists or people send me stuff or whatever, and it's like really dope and just don't have eyes on it, like I feel like that's my little guardian angel thing for the industry is to make sure whatever music that I feel is super dope that I want to push forward. That's what my platform is for. So it ain't no politics when it comes to my playlist. If I like it, it's in there. So and I just wish in this era it was more like that. So like artists will come to me wanting strategy and they like, I ain't paying until you tell me what playlist you can get in. I need to be in Rap Radar. Dude, you got 1,000 plays. You ain't getting in Rap Radar. Like it ain't happening. Like so just we gonna build it up from the bottom. There's plenty of other rap playlists that got good followings that I can get you in. You ain't getting in Rap Radar. So just take that out your head. Like how you think you going from 0 to top 10 on Rap Radar? It's not happening. So I mean
Rap Caviar.
Rap Caviar. Sorry, I'm saying Rap Radar.
Rap Radar.
Shout out to Rap Radar. Shout out to
No.
we about to.
No.
Elliot, what's up, man? We about to.
Rap Caviar, I meant. So yeah, that dynamic is just being realistic, and that's why I wrote that article for artists that take the time to read it, is because there are so many ways to get your streams up without you being on those major playlists.
Right.
So you just got to be more strategic out there and find the people that actually want to listen to your music, and once you do that, then you can curate the algorithm to make sure you're in people's release radar and you're in people's Discover Weekly. Without having to be a major playlist, you could still get in the right hands of fans that would appreciate your music.
Yeah,
so you just
sure.
got to be more strategic with it. That's
Yeah,
all.
you know, it's so funny. It's no secret that I started releasing my own music, and I got that out of my head. I'm more trying to build with the independent playlist because it just feels like more of an uphill battle, and I have the relationships.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lean on it because it's fleeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get a song in a playlist like a Rap Caviar or Most Necessary, and it doesn't react, they're going to pull that song right
really
away.
quick because
It
it's all
doesn't-
data.
Unless
yeah.
you do the groundwork.
Yep.
It's harder to get a song like, let's say, because this is that's what I do, right? Like, let's say I get your song on Rap Caviar, right? They have it there for a few days. It does terrible numbers. They then are not going to want to put your song back in Rap Caviar because it's like you had a poor showing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Eb said, I think it's best that like, you kind of build. It's a slow build. But even just, I just think streaming is necessary. And I think it's a great way ultimately for artists in the sense that like, I think if you got a classic album, right? Like I listen to Jay-Z's Blueprint 1 all the time, still listen to it. I feel like me buying it for $10, he's definitely got more than $10 worth out of me from listens as opposed to just me giving you $10.
I don't think so. Okay. I love this, right? Because I use this example of Nas Illmatic also, right? Another classic album.
Yep.
In my lifetime, between reissues or people just stealing the CD from your house, like friends coming over bar and not returning,
Right.
I bought Illmatic about 4 times.
Yeah.
All right. So about $40, $50 maybe.
I know I can rap to you Illmatic from track 1 to track 1 was a skip, but from the beginning to the end and then backwards. I know I haven't listened to Illmatic 1,500 times. I can tell you that right now.
Nah, how much? $14.99?
Nah. What I'm saying is, I think there's more direct ways to support. So I bought it 4 times. For me to feel like, yo, I really want to support Nas or I really want to support my favorite artist, I got to stream this X number of times. Man, let me just go buy it and live with it the way I would traditionally live with it. Like, I even feel like as a fan, and I'm the type, even when I was in the industry, and people know that, I was going to the record store. I was going to Best Buy every week and posting it on Instagram. And people used to hit me like, why do you still buy it?
Exactly. They say me with the same
Because
thing.
I want to feel like I support. It's almost like voting. Like, why do you go to the polls and vote?
Yeah.
So we don't have fucking Donald Trump in office.
You still buy records today?
Where?
I do.
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
I do on Amazon. Like
Really?
I'm a music purist. I have a record player still. I still have a CD player. Like I want physical copies. Like people come in my house and they see my CD collection. It look like something like this, and they be like, "Hey, why do you still have CDs?" I'm like, "Because I'm a music purist." Like, and I'm trying to get my record collection to look like
I
this.
hate
It's very-
CDs now. I
it's-
can't, like you said, they took it out the drives. Like when I'm in Manhattan and people try to give me their mixtape, like, dude, don't give me no CD. I can't do
You're like
it.
50? You're like,
what can I do
you're
with
not
this?
going to win because you stupid.
No, I lie to them. I tell them I don't have a CD player. I be like, who got a CD player in 2019? Even though I got one at my house.
Right.
I be like, who got one? They be like, well, man, you want to take it? No, I'm not taking it. I don't have a CD player.
Right.
But I'm a music purist, so it makes me happy in this day and age
Right.
when an album comes out so good that I want to buy it.
Yeah.
So like I bought the vinyl of Anderson .Paak album because I was like, this sonically
Yeah.
is so dope. Like I have to hear this on vinyl, even though I hate the new vinyl because they make it for digital. Like I
Right.
hate that.
Yeah.
But that album was so good. I was like, I want this on vinyl right now. So that gets me excited as a music purist. Somebody that makes me not want to stream it but actually buy it.
I still buy music. I don't buy the physicals as much anymore, unless just because, like, where do you get them and then where do you put them? And I should probably look to Amazon. I was still going to the iTunes store. Like, you know, Daytona dropped. I bought Daytona. I love Pusha T. I'm a big Pusha T fan.
Yeah.
So I'm still finding ways to support my favorite artists, but it's getting tough these days.
Mhm.
I mean,
You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
that just that point alone, what we're saying is even reason why the bundles are important, right? Like just having the music is not enough. What else can I have that's a collector's item that I can that I can take? Like,
Oh, the music
I
is
have
enough.
something.
This is where we disagree. Why isn't the music enough?
Because it's not like you're gonna hear it you're gonna hear it, right? Like you're gonna get
Because we
it.
devalued, we gave it away. What's
Yeah.
the saying?
Music is
Why buy
enough,
the cow when you
but-
can get the milk,
Milk
for
for
free?
free. You're right about
This is
that.
That's the fucking
It's a lot of
music
milk
industry.
out here, man.
I mean,
Ev, last point. I want to start making closing. Go ahead.
what's my last point? Support good artists. That's it. Like, stop making artists have to jump through so many hoops to be able to survive and be successful in the light of their labels, because that's what this is all about. It's in the light of the label. Like, the artist at the end of the day is there as a creator, and hopefully they're creating something they're happy with. You ain't gonna please everybody. That's another thing. Stop getting mad and searching your name when albums come out and replying to people that don't like it. They stay in my
Word.
mentions doing dumb stuff like
This
that.
sounds
Burner
Like,
Yeah,
find the
right,
people
she
that
talking to
actually like
somebody.
your music. Like, don't be coming to my mentions mad because I don't. And that's it.
I see that. Yo, my final closing words is, Khaled, you got to stop the whole shit, man. You know, you got to stop the whole shit. No, just because I just mean from the sense of like, yo, the man Tyler, he did what he did.
Yeah.
He won fair and square. Salute that man. You a positive brother. You know what I'm saying? That's no disrespect intended. Go do a record with Tyler. Get Tyler on the record.
Should have got
That's what
Tyler
I
on
want to
that one.
hear.
Can we forgive Cal? It's Cal because man, they was kicking him. It was the pitchforks.
Yeah,
it was the fire torches. Like, can we forgive Cal? Can we say the man had a lapse of judgment? He might have had an emotional moment. He did take the post down. It was just so funny that it was like everybody loved Khaled, and then there was this one thing, and it was like, man, fuck Khaled. I feel like that.
You know how
Oh
the social-
God,
yeah.
damn.
I mean, we'll forget about it in a week. We'll be
Yeah,
be
if
somebody else
something
new to
else
hate.
gonna
Yeah,
happen,
it'll be
something
somebody
else
new to
gonna
hate
happen.
next week. But like, yo, Khaled, you know, I love Khaled. You know what I'm saying? I love what he does. I love what he represents. Show that man Tyler some love, man. Stop hating.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree with that. That's an excellent point. Show Tyler some love. Go ahead and stream Igor if you must. Buy it. It's probably even better. And check us out on For the Record, man. Check out Eb Don't Sleep, her Spotify playlist. You can check out Najee on Cigar Talk. And I'll check you out next week, man. This is For the Record. Peace.